Thank you for joining me, Talina. Can you first tell me what you do?
Right, so that's quite a question because I do a plethora of things. I like the word plethora. I don't really actually know what it means, but I think it means lots of things.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. I do a plethora of things, primarily two things. I'm a radio presenter and I have a mental health platform called The Breakdown Room. And they do actually coincide a lot. I started off in the kind of presenting realm, like doing my own stuff on YouTube, like initially started with like interviewing artists, then it went into interviewing like fashion designers and blah, blah, blah. But I hated that whole thing. The artists were great, the fashion, not so much, because I just felt it was like very surface level. And then started to like move into interviewing people about their own mental health based off the fact that I was really struggling as well. And then moved into radio from there and like did a radio show for BBC Radio Oxford called Getting Mouthy about mental health, where I'd basically interview people. Like I'd bring on a person each week. They'd bring on like 3 songs that is like representative of their mental health journey, which is always a really eclectic mix. Like it wasn't all depressing. Okay. And then we just chat about their journey with mental health. And so that's kind of like, even though radio and my mental health platform seem very far apart, they're actually really, together. They were both what I talk about on the radio a lot of the time, and what I do with my platform is all from my own personal experience. And the Breakdown Room was born sort of out of my own mental health struggles, but in lockdown as well, when people were just not able to get support and not able to connect. And obviously a lot of people's mental health was deteriorating in lockdown anyway. So yeah.
Terribly so. And you have the like that you actually have the group sessions sometimes, don't you? So
Yeah.
I mean, that must help being able to talk, to people who you don't always know. You don't know who's at the end of the line. You're behind a situation. I can imagine sometimes.
Also, that's kind of like the premise of the Breakdown Room, is where we host group sessions on Zoom for anxiety, body confidence and self-esteem, heartbreak and depression. Heartbreak is very underrated. I'm telling you, It's the root of so many problems, a lot of mine. And so I host sessions on Zoom for that. I'm not a therapist and I'm not posing as a therapist. Like I've done some training, but it's more about my personal experience, what I found helpful. But the real thing is like bringing people together and people knowing that they're coming into that room, which is Zoom, knowing that like everyone else in there is in there for a similar reason. So you're not going to feel like, like you might if you're talking to your friends or a random group of people. Even therapists, I have therapy every week, but a lot of people don't feel like they can connect to their therapist, because obviously the therapist's job is to stay neutral and not, be like, oh yeah, I went through the same thing. But as human beings, we want to connect. We want to know that like, oh, you get me because you had the same experience and you understand what it's like. And it's actually so interesting in the rooms to see when someone has kind of come out the other end and someone else is stuck in it, but to see them coming out the other end is like, oh, I can do it if they can do it. It's like seeing to believe kind of thing.
I can't remember like the quote or what it was, but it was like saying it's okay to know more than the professionals in therapy sometimes about you, like your own diagnoses, and like obviously in that situation, the people who are going through it actually sometimes do know more. They might not be able to know how to help someone get better more, but actually they may know more about it. It's that it is that situation. So obviously you did answer quite kind of in some there, but what do you like about your work?
I love so I mean, I guess I'll talk about them maybe separately, but with my radio, it's something that just comes really naturally to me. I love interacting with people, like presenting in general. I'm interacting with people. I love interviewing people, finding out about people. Like it's so weird for me actually being on the other end, like being asked a question. No, like I want to be like, oh, what about you? But I love finding out about people. That's something I really, really love. But then with the radio, obviously, you're not necessarily, sometimes I interview people, but still you're interacting with people, even though you're not. Like when people send me a message, like requests, or they say they're loving the show or whatever, I just love that. I love the I love that feeling kind of thing. And I'm a Leo.
Okay.
Performative people.
Does
We
it
love
all.
performance. So I'm very a Leo. So there's that. But also I think the thing about radio that I love, I'm an actress as well. And radio is like the closest high you get to doing theatre, because it's live. Like if I'm not speaking or if I'm not pressing a button and music's not playing, nothing is happening. It's silent.
Yeah.
So you have to be like really, really on it. And it's one of my shows is 3 hours long, a live one, which I did today actually. And it goes so quickly. And that's when you know you love something, when the time goes quickly. I'm literally on my own in the studio and I'm having a great time. Literally a great time. Today I was playing a lot of Adele, understandably. And then with the breakdown room, obviously, it still comes from that same love of people and interacting with people, but from a different perspective of it's therapeutic for me. It's a way for me to offload in some way, but also the main thing is like helping other people and supporting other people. And also getting supported by others. Like sometimes we'll be in a session, someone will say something and I'll be like, oh my God, like that's so helpful for me. There was this one boy, I think he was like 16 or 17 in America that came to a session. Wow. It was amazing. And he was telling me all these things about boundaries and his relationship and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, you are amazing. Like you need to take this session.
Yeah, come. Yeah. Control
so that's the thing, I think. Like, and also I feel obviously talking about mental health has become so much less stigmatized now, but it's really important for me to be able to do that on both of my platforms. And I feel like by talking openly as a presenter and on the radio, and by talking openly on my platform, the Breakdown Room, it encourages hopefully other people to do the same, or at least feel comfortable with how they're feeling, even though it's not very comfortable.
No, but it's a place to go to and try to feel better about it. And so how did you start out? I know you kind of breached it a little bit earlier, but obviously how did you
well, with the Breakdown Room, like I didn't realize when I was like 14, 15 that I was like really suffering with my mental health. I did develop an eating disorder around the age of 15, but I kind of just thought it was normal. And then I found out that, you know, it wasn't actually normal, especially because like you hide it from a lot of people as well. But I didn't realize at the time I was also suffering with anxiety, depression, like there was a lot of stuff going on. And I was engaging in a lot of abusive interactions and relationships. My brother wasn't very well at the time. There was a lot happening. But I don't think I necessarily realized that. And then the first time I properly noticed there was a problem was like, I think it was my second year of uni. And I was in a relationship. I had to break it off. Like I was so depressed. I just kept crying all the time. Like it was bizarre. I remember I was in Barcelona with my boyfriend, my best friend and her boyfriend. And I hated it for no reason. I was just crying constantly. I just wanted my mum and dad. It was horrendous. So that's when I was like, this feels like it's come out of nowhere. I don't understand why. And then things kind of calmed down. And then I got into a new relationship when I was about 22. And that was like the best time. I was so in love. And we basically broke up. And after that, the past 4 years for me have been like very, very like an uphill battle with my mental health. And I think it wasn't that I suddenly got mental health problems because of that relationship. It was, I probably suppressed a lot, that pressed a button, and then like everything just kind of exploded. And like I said before, I was doing like a show, like on YouTube and also IGTV and podcast, talking about mental health with other people. But the Breakdown Room started in lockdown when I did this course at Metanoia Institute, which is like a really lovely school to train to be a therapist or a counselor. And there was like 16 people on Zoom every Wednesday. We were essentially strangers to start with. And the people, we opened up to each other more than we did with other people. And I thought there's really something in opening up to strangers on Zoom like this. And obviously it was Zoom, like we didn't even know if we were ever going to be able to see anyone ever again. So that's why I started the Breakdown Room, because I thought, oh, this is a good idea. And it was obviously, I was struggling with my mental health. So many people were. So I wanted to make mental health support accessible, because the whole thing with the Breakdown Room is like bridging the gap between dealing with your problems alone and going to therapy, because therapy is inaccessible a lot of the time for people, expensive, takes ages to get. And a lot of people find it daunting as well. They'd rather just speak to someone that feels like a friend.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, that's like the main reason I started the Breakdown Room.
Brilliant. So,
yeah.
Oh, go on, sorry, Karen.
I know that was it.
Yeah. And so I was just gonna say, and what would you say to anybody else starting out today, obviously as like a radio presenter, or anyone kind of say wanting to help people with mental health?
I would say regardless of what you want to do, like as if you have a desire to do something, first of all, you should feel lucky because there's so many people that don't have a desire to do anything and don't know what they want to do, don't know what direction they're going in, and don't even have the opportunity to do that. So if you love something and it's something you feel like you want to pursue, I would just say, like, I'm not going to swear, but bit,
Yeah.
and just go for it.
Mhm.
And there is, it doesn't matter how busy you are, how tired you are, how many social plans you've got. Like, yes, okay, your mental health should come first, 100%. But aside from that, like, you have to be your number one priority. So you have to go out there, knock on those doors, create the thing you need to create, ask for help. Like this saying, if you don't ask, you don't get. It's so true. I find it really uncomfortable a lot of the time as well. But you have to, like with my radio stuff, I originally, like when I got BBC Radio Oxford from by auditioning, but after that, when I wanted to do more, I like emailed places, but like they didn't respond because I hadn't sent them a demo. But I was like, oh, I don't have a demo because I don't have a radio show. And then I was like, hold up, I'll just record a demo and pretend. And that's what I did. And then I got like 4 different radio gigs. And it didn't happen instantly, but it takes time. And now like I'm reapproaching new stations because I've had much more experience. So it doesn't matter if you've not even like been to uni or you've not had the experience, create the experience for yourself. Like there isn't any excuse,
No.
So
it's a hard world, isn't it? It is daunting, and it's easy to go bury my head in the sand. I know it's just not accessible to me, but you can make the experiences and you can go knocking on doors, even more so now that we do have like social media and places where you just sit on LinkedIn and you just send emails, you just keep going. And it's hard to put yourself on the line, but it is the only way you're gonna, unless sometimes you are very fortunate but that's not always the case.
100%. But then also with that thing, like there's a comedian I love called Grace Campbell. A lot of people probably hate her. I love her.
Yeah.
She's so real. She's hilarious and brilliant. And I'm not really into comedians, but I love her.
Yeah.
But she's Alistair Campbell's daughter, who's like a very famous politician, which I didn't really know because I'm not really into politics, but I know he's a very famous politician.
Yeah.
And she, in her book, because she's written a book, says like, she had so much stick for, oh, this is Alistair Campbell's daughter. Like, that's why she's so successful. Yes, she had an advantage that other people don't have. But if she wasn't talented, then she wouldn't be getting anywhere. It's like Maya Jama. She used to go out with Stormzy. And everyone's like, well, she used to go out with Stormzy. That's why she's doing so well. Well, yes, going out with Stormzy probably did help. But if she wasn't good at her job, she wouldn't be doing well now. Her and Stormzy broke up now. She's killing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not fair. Like, and also, I'm sorry, if you were Maya Jama or if you were Grace, wouldn't you use what you have?
Take the opportunity, absolutely.
You shouldn't feel guilty for having opportunities. Like you should feel grateful, but not guilty.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's acknowledging where you've been privileged, isn't there? But I do think you should never be made to feel guilty about it, because you can't change that situation, but how you move forward, if you're good enough and you can take the opportunity, why wouldn't you? It does come up, obviously, as always, that place of jealousy. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't go out with Stormzy. Sad times.
Yeah, exactly.
Really sad times.
Something else I would say as well is like the importance of helping other people. I think especially there's this whole taboo of like women like being bitchy, like mean girls, and like not wanting to help each other. And I definitely think the world is changing and it's becoming more supportive. Like if you go to like New York, for example, people are so nice.
And really?
People want to they want to help. I almost moved there. Like they want to help you. They want to be like, yeah, come and collaborate with us. Come and do this. Come and even if they don't mean it, but like, it's nice. And I will always help my friends. I will never be like, oh, she's doing this and I want to be doing that. And I'm, obviously you have jealousy and envy. That's completely normal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like we should want to help each other. Like for sure. It doesn't matter how many followers you have or they don't have or what they've done or what you've done. It doesn't matter.
No, you can't. And there's not always much you can do to change it. So you just have to keep concentrating on your own path and going forward. Do you have any plans with the breakdown room, like for future, or are you just going to keep going as it's going?
Well, we did our first workshop, not last week, the week before, a paint your feelings workshop, it was called. I've got a studio in Hackney. Don't know why I'm pointing to the wall.
Yeah.
I've got a studio in Hackney, and we hosted like a workshop there for about 10 people. That's like the maximum we could have. Everyone was given like a canvas and paints, and like we did like a whole painting activity and talking about it and understanding the colors you'd used and all of that. And that was the first workshop we did. So we're definitely planning. We've already got another one planned in for February. We want to do more of those. We want obviously to keep growing our sessions, to get the word out there for people to come to our sessions. That's what we're focusing on now, because even though we're like a year old, we're very, very young. We still don't know what we're doing. We're still trying to figure it out. But I think we do want to do more like human face-to-face interaction, even though the whole concept is on Zoom. But doing workshops is really helpful. And also maybe eventually we'll do like a panel talk, more of an event. We want to do collaborations with like yoga studios or like wellness platforms or sound healers to have like a half a day workshop, you know, that kind of thing.